Hello, this is let's see what I can Sumner or Radar Martian, I guess you can say. Which is my middle name. I guess if you could say Sumner or whatever, I just like I don't really care if people know that name. I keep that middle name if I changed it. Um, I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna ask you, like I'm gonna tell you, why do I make videos even if people don't watch me? Well, because I have interest and I have like tons of interest. I like physics. I like math. Oh, actually, I don't like math. I like the applications of using math in the future, and I like talking about physics, even though I don't have the background and the applications of math to really understand the the, the physics of what the predict how to predict, understand or comprehend it. Well, I need calculus to comprehend are, which is understand it is does to understand it. Well, yes, what I say. I want to understand physics by understanding the math, but not really understanding the math, but like just like understanding how to use that math to predict, to know something, know how to understand it. So in I like I don't know if I like physics, science or engineering. I don't know what pure science or pure not not purely engineering. Where I can understand everything about engineering. Because if you look at engineering, like you have to know chemical engineering, physics. You have to understand engi- everything in physics. Not everything in physics. You don't have to understand everything in physics. You have to apply physics and know how to know stuff you're uncertain about. Like for example, like a cup, or how the cup got manufactured, or how stainless steel cup got made. You know, that's why, but besides the point, I don't talk. That's not why I'm talking. I'm not talking about just engineering. That's why I want to make these videos. I want to talk about stuff, even though I'm rambling right now and I'm off script. Like, I'm this, but because the one thing about autism, like, and that's the one to also want to talk about. I'm autistic, so I have to script things and make sure to sound not to sound smart, but like actually, I have to know what I'm talking about. Like, because like when I don't do that, I go on tangents, and I don't understand how to, say things better, how to improve on that, and I try to improve on that. I try to improve on writing things down, because sometimes I'm really impatient when I don't like to script something. I don't like to like just write something down and actually try to understand what I'm trying to say. And sometimes I don't understand what I'm trying to say, because sometimes they go on. That's why I'm repeating myself again, because I'm autistic. I'm autistic. I repeat things over and over again. So, like I said, I guess I'm gonna read. The reason I make videos. I guess I'm gonna read the right what I wrote down. The reason I make videos, even though if people don't watch them, is because of all the interest I have. Like how many, like how many times Edison failed in the at the light bulb. 1,000 times. I made content for years. Yeah, that's the one thing. I made content for years. I was reading out, like, as I have to get better at scripting and how to try to sound from how I'm saying it. I never script that much. I need to learn how to script. Sometimes when I'm like, I guess when I'm scripting, like when I listen to like people like Richard Feynman, I listen to Richard Feynman, like the Feynman technique, and I repeat the stuff he says, but I don't really understand the context sometimes. Like, you know, some people think that because I'm smart, that that I that I they think I just know everything, but I don't. Because they think, because like but it doesn't really, like Feynman said, it doesn't really matter how smart you are. It doesn't matter how beautiful the theory is. It doesn't. If the theory disagrees with the experiment, it's wrong. But and and I always, that's why I repeat over. That's what I repeat over and over again. I repeat that over and over again. I'm autistic, so that's the one thing. The main reason why I make videos, even though people don't watch them, is to vent, sort of. about my problems, and because like autism and stuff like that, I barely understand autism. I barely understand my brain. I know it's of course I know you don't trust yourself. I'm getting off script, by the way, so I don't like. I could have practiced by reading out loud and write, what I wrote, and like just say it over time. Just say right. That's one thing I need to practice on too. I needed to make sure because practice makes perfect, and also my grammar, my paragraphs, and my I look at my writing and stuff like that. It's just pretty bad, so I have to like make sure to space everything out and make sure how to end a paragraph, how to punctuate things better, and that's my problem. But yeah, that's besides the script. Like I'm getting off script, so. But like I said, how many times Edison made the light bulb? 1,000 times. Even if I get 0 views on this content, I don't care if I have 0 views. I had the reason why I made this video because I had this one person I look on YouTube. I forgot her name. I forgot her name. I need to look it up. And she made me think that she inspired me to think, well, why am I making videos even though people don't watch me? She has 9,000 views. And I looked at it. I should have left a comment, but she inspired me to realize like I shouldn't care how many views I get on YouTube. Like Edison said, look at Edison, what he said. I haven't failed. I just did things that didn't work. And there's stuff it doesn't work. And what if I don't have a good thumbnail? I don't have clickbait or anything. I don't have I'm too late. I'm very lazy. If I wanted to, I can have clickbait if I wanted to. But this is clickbait if I have what I the things that interesting to me is that if the content, like if I wanted to, I can have clickbait. But if I want to do the same thing, I repeat the same thing that other person said, like put a good title and everything. But the other thing's kind of good to do is have a good thumbnail. But other than that, you shouldn't really care if you're too lazy to do it. You shouldn't do it. And just make content no matter what, and practice. Practice makes perfect. Vlogging is very important. Just vlogging about stuff. Some people think that not vlogging or whatever on YouTube is pretty. It is the dumbest idea out ever because you talk about your problems or you do other things like you shouldn't talk about. That's bullshit. Of course, if I want to be an engineer, if I want to work for Apple and I had like 1 million subscribers and stuff like that, and they can figure out who I am and look at my face and say, I know this person. This person works at he's a YouTuber, and they'll probably say, oh yeah, like, well, you should get rid of that YouTube. You should get rid of your YouTube channel. So to be loyal to us and be our loyal servant and be the Apple employee. Like this guy on YouTube, he said, you should be an Apple employee and just try to. And that's why I didn't want to show my face because I really wanted to work at like these tech companies, but it's not worth it. It's not worth it because you look at these. It's probably better off to make a YouTube channel that you want to get views and stuff like that, and even if you don't get views, is probably better. You can still make content and stuff, even if people don't notice you. It doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter because if you're passionate about it and you want to talk about your interests, that's a good thing. That's a really good thing because why should you care if people don't look at you? If you're interested in like engineering, like a robotics or game development, or maybe like art or anything you do, you should not care what view you get. You can get 1 view, and that should really you should appreciate that you at least got 1 view. It's really hard to make content if you don't make the least views. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people that made. That's the thing too. You shouldn't do. You shouldn't compare yourself to other people because like the people that made content, they did it for years, and I won't tell you. I've been making content for years, and the thing I was insecure about all the time, that I always had 0 views. I had no views at all, and I always cared about that. I was very insecure, so I just I don't realize. You look at Vosh or Destiny, for example, or not them. PewDiePie, for example, probably had zero views before. He'll never mention it. He'll never mention it where he like had a hard time getting views. He'll never mention that ever. He probably had tons of content that he made that had no views at all, and he didn't know how to like get the algorithm to appeal to him. And that's you have to figure out what works for you, and also you have to look at these engineers, for example. Some of these engineers, they make content, and they don't make a lot of views. Like these tons of engineers out there, they don't make a lot of views. There's artists that make more views than they do, and it's because it's more interesting to look at art. Engineering is a lot. It's more complicated. You can't really see how like everything works, because if they know, because they like to hide a lot of secrets and stuff, and their own skill set because they want to get hired, maybe, or I don't know, maybe something else. But it's just interesting because like I think my problem with if you want to be an engineer, like, and you want to like be passionate on I think it's probably better to be passionate on YouTube. And maybe what if you want to be an entrepreneur, that if you want to sell cars, or for example, and you want to make you can make content on like try to how to figure you can get people to work with you and try to make a car or something like that, and make content for that. Like Mr. Beast is doing. There's ways to do that. You can make a business out of that on YouTube, and try to sell. Try to make a product of a car. See how it work, if everything works and everything, and because I look at like I forgot the guy's name, Jeremy Fielding. He made a robotic arm. He made a like Jeremy Fielding, which I like that guy. He's my favorite YouTuber. He like literally made like he worked hard on designing like he was welding, he was machining, he did everything. He like literally I don't know how he was able to do that. He of course he bought motors that works. He didn't know if they worked or not, but he used those ideas and like made a robotic arm. You could do anything. You can literally do anything you want if you put your mind to it. You just have to work hard. You have to work hard. You don't have to work. Don't overwhelm yourself. Make it fun. That's the problem. If you make it seem like work, you're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to do it again. If you want to code every day, if you want to learn how to code, and you want to like spend time on like just coding every day, and like if you spend like 15 minutes a day every day on coding, like let's go on free code camp and spend 15 minutes a day, even like spending like 15 minutes, and you don't have to, you can just put your mind on spending 15 minutes on it. But if you want to spend longer on it, spend 30 minutes. You don't have to do the Pomodoro technique and spend like an hour on. You don't have to spend like an hour every day on like something. You don't have to spend like hour. You have to spend like stuff you want to do. If you don't want to do it, spend like 5 minutes on it. Maybe even like 15 minutes. If for example, if you have one problem and engineers, for example, they spend on the. I give an example. Engineers spend like on one problem every day. They can't do every problem. You have to do one specific problem on every deadline. You have to spend one problem each time, and keep in the next on the next problem and the next problem. It takes like maybe a week, or maybe like 40 like 6 months or 3 months to do one problem, maybe even 6 months. Maybe it takes years to do one problem, or maybe like two problems. I don't know. I don't know how it works, but I know like it takes like maybe like a 6 months or 3 months or 2 months, maybe 1 month to do one problem, and the next month to do the other problem, and another month to do the other problem. I just give just the other thing too about engineers is they give several solutions to a problem. They have tons of problems. They have tons of problems they have different things they can look at. They can look at past mistakes. Give an example. Look at Tesla, for example. You look at the car. I give you the battery, something's wrong with the wheels, something's wrong with the everything, the struts, or every part in the car. Something's goes wrong with it, and engineer can fix that if they know the solution. They can find different solutions. They can find the trade offs of what that solution, and find out not just guess, but find out like different solutions that might work. And if they can figure out that other one doesn't work, and they can figure out the other one that works, and they figure out they fit. even if they failed at something, doesn't mean that you didn't fail. It just mean you did something that didn't work. Like Edison said, how many times he made a light bulb. That's another example. But I mean, I know I'm just rambling, but just if you want to make content, just do it. If you want to ramble all the time, I'm off script. By the way, I'm off script. I'm like literally like I should have wrote everything that I don't have to. I can get better at it, but even art, you don't spend like you don't spend like one it like several you don't spend like different things like you spend on one thing at a time. You want to spend like on lines, spend one thing on lines, and then if you want to spend time on circles, spend time on circles, or spend time on different lines, like a curved line, or maybe like a line that you want to like make sure you like do different do different techniques, because the line is kind of complicated. I looked at this one artist, like as a Japanese artist, and he kind of like he does it where he he spent 45 minutes drawing. He's really skilled at it. He knows how to. Well, I'll give an example. He knows how to draw like the lines correctly, and I don't know how to like I don't know the meaning of correct. He perfected how to make lines correctly. He knows how to. I don't know. I can't explain everything in my definitions. There's probably definitions I'm missing, but I can't explain what he's doing. But he knows how to position his lines correctly and make sure that he give the right proportions. That's the right thing, I guess you could say. He gives the right proportions of like the different lengths of the where he knows how to like express the drawing correctly. And also you look at difference on a artist and a technical sketcher is technical sketcher. They use rulers and stuff like, because you can make a mistake if you express yourself. Sometimes you don't know how to like do it, like angle and measure everything. If you want to get not just guess but like figure it out on your own, because like but of course if you're trying to do technical sketches and you're not understanding like CAD or computer aided engineering, like for example like SolidWorks or Fusion 360, you may make a mistake. So it's very hard to spend. Content is very hard to make, especially if you look at the algorithm. The algorithm is really hard to. I find it hard to think. I find it very hard to like to do do a task every day. I get discouraged. I'm afraid of failure. I'm always afraid of failure, but I'm always like, and I'm never satisfied with anything. I'm like I'm never happy with success, but I'm always afraid of failure. I'm always afraid of failure that that I haven't succeeded, but I have succeeded at least doing it. And that's the one thing you have to always realize. Even if you don't completely succeed at something, what is the meaning of failure? What's the meaning of success? What's the meaning, like, if you want to keep going at it and you're successful at, you're good enough to do it. Even though you're not successful, even if people, no one knows the meaning of failure. No one knows the meaning of success. At least you're successful at doing it. You achieved spending 15 minutes a day doing it. If you spend 15 minutes a day, that is success. That should be success to you, that you should do it, that you did it every day. And it needs to still be satisfied that you were successful enough to spend every day on the routine and keep doing it. And keep doing it, you're going to get better at it. That you're going to get more successful at it. That's the thing too. Success, you're always going to be successful, even if you fail at something. If you fail at code, you're always successful because you just get more successful over time, and that's what matters. Edison was always successful at things. He had to get more success, improve on it, always improve and always get successful and perfect what he's doing. No one's a failure. No one, everyone can be successful. Shit. Everyone can be successful. And it's what you know, no one knows the meaning of success. You know, if you put your mind to it, you can do it. You know, people have, you know, you look at like, and I don't understand what the meaning of success is. I can't really explain it to you, and you know, you got to figure it out your own. And no one, no, I think no one really knows what the meaning of success is. Most people, you know, when you think about it, most people, you're never going to be successful. Some, you know. Also, I guess what I'm trying to say is that no one knows the meaning of success at all. And I'm not trying to say I know what's the meaning of success. I don't know what the meaning of success is. No, you're never going to be successful. And also, you know, in context, like what I'm trying to say, you're never going to be successful. But put the illusion that you, in some way, you know, try to put the illusion and fake it till you make it, that you are successful. Be an imposter. Be an imposter and try to be successful. You know, you look at every other scientist out there; they're all imposters. Newton was not; he wasn't the first scientist. There were scientists before him. Even Newton was an imposter. You look at like Archimedes. Archimedes was a scientist. He was also an imposter. There's tons of people that were scientists before him, or maybe, I mean, philosophers are imposters too. You know, philosophers can act like scientists, but they're not scientists. And you know, even if you're not a scientist or have a degree in science, or I mean, you could think like a scientist. You know, I mean, everyone. I'm trying to say everyone's born a scientist. Everyone's born a psychologist. Everyone's born a philosopher. Everyone's born an engineer. You know, to think like it, they can think like an engineer, they can think like a scientist, they can think like a genius, they can think like anything they want to. It's all in your imagination. You know, it's all in your head that you can be those things if you want to. And it's hard to think like a genius because not everyone's geniuses. And if you are successful in one thing, you're considered a genius. But you have to be consistent, and you can't be like you can't you're not always going to be a genius at something all the time. You're not, and also, you know, geniuses are always successful all the time about something. Like they can be successful most of the time. Sometimes, like, and sometimes they're not always successful. Like you look at Leonardo da Vinci. Leonardo da Vinci was a polymath. He was jack of all trades, but he wasn't good of all. He wasn't always good at them. Those skill sets. He was he was a genius. Like, you know what genius means is like thinking using an infinite amount of intelligence to figure out the impossible and make it possible. That's what the meaning of success means. Like, you know, but you're never, even if you're successful, you're never gonna be satisfied with your success. Even if you always had to chase, you always have to get successful all the time. But you have to figure out that you can't be afraid of failure. You try to be less afraid. You have to improve and be. You have to be less afraid of failure because you're always gonna be a failure. But you know, failures. You know, a happy loser is the most successful. You know, a loser. You know, try to be a successful loser. Which is a happy loser. Try to put loser being a loser as successful, because everyone's a loser. Every human being on this earth is a loser, because you know yeah, that's all I want to say. So yeah, yeah. Comment, like, share, subscribe.